Hey guys, it's Bailey. Welcome back to the channel and thanks so much for tuning in to what is going to be another haul. I recently posted my Sephora VIB sale haul, but conveniently, Ulta decided to hold a 20% off sale at the same time, I'm sure in direct competition, which I fell for. And so I wanted to go through things that I bought. I don't have full reviews baked out of all of these, but I have used most, if not everything. So this is more than just a show and tell, but it's not quite a review of everything. As you see these things, definitely let me know what you want to see more of in the comments below. Let's go ahead and dive in. The first thing is one that needs no introduction. I have no idea why it took me this long to get the Jaclyn Hill palette. One of my friends even let me use it a while ago, and I knew I was in love. I just kept saying, you don't need it, there are other things you'd rather buy instead. I couldn't resist. This is finally the time that I cracked. I got it, and I love it, just in time for her to apparently launch her own new eyeshadows, which I will also surely check out. But in the meantime, I'm pretty excited about this guy. I love the selection of colors in here. I like the shadow quality. I just think overall it's a really great palette. So eager to use that. Let me know if you want to see tutorials. One thing that you guys have already requested is to do a crushing up of the eyeshadows here. You want me to try doing each row to create, I guess, 5, right? There are 5 rows in here, I think. 4, 5. 5 individual shadows that represent a combination of each row. And I'm gonna do it, so stay tuned if you wanna see it. If not, please don't tune in, but just know it's coming. And also let me know if you wanna see any looks using this. I will for sure be using it off camera, but let me know if you wanna see any looks on camera. Also, as a side note, as you see demos in here today, I did try something from that Sephora haul, the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. I ended up returning my shade. Sephora recommended a 3, which was way too light. I went back in store to exchange it so I could actually see the shades on my skin. I keep hitting this box. I'm so sorry if that sounded annoying. But I went back in store to get the right shade, and I think I still got it too light. I'm wearing it today. It does match everything. Well, I think it still is a little bit lighter than my chest and arms. And so I'm nervous that it's going to look even lighter as the summer goes on, even though I am starting to be super careful with my sun protection. It's a natural fact of the summer. So it's good for now. I'm wearing this today, but it's like the second time I've worn it, so I can't say that I absolutely love it just quite yet. But just know that is what I am applying in this demo. And then also in the news of face or base products, I also got the Revolution, Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Full Coverage Conceal and Contour. This is another one that's a long time coming, not quite as long as the Jaclyn Hill palette, but everyone and their brother has done a comparison between this and I think it's the Tarte Shape Tape. I want to say that's what they're comparing it to. Mine is in the shade C4, and I've used it again just a handful of times so far, but what I've noticed is it is super full coverage. The applicator is very similar to the Tarte Shape Tape in that it is gigantic. The consistency is similar in how thick it is, and I have noticed that as I've used it with a couple of different foundations, that if I apply it too heavily, I do get like a line of demarcation you can see between where the concealer stops and my foundation starts. Like it just, the mixing of the textures doesn't always blend really flawlessly and smoothly, and I find it only happens when I apply too much. So it is thick enough to where it might not play so well with your foundation underneath if you apply too much of it. That's not something I really experienced with the Tarte Shape Tape, but at the same time, this is much cheaper and I think provides a lot of the same coverage. But these are all just still, I feel like, preliminary thoughts. Don't hold me to any of these things. These are just my experiences after the first few uses here. Up next are some new products from Neutrogena. They have partnered with Kerry Washington to create an essential eye palette and essential cheek palette. The cheek palette is kind of your quintessential face palette. It includes your bronzer, your blush, your highlight. It looks super similar to a lot of other kind of face palettes that are out there. It Cosmetics has one, BH Cosmetics has one. This just, to me, I mean, down to the color, seems very similar to a lot of those that exist out there, but are a little bit cheaper. The pans are a good size. The brush that I'm using here, you can see it's like a good size blush slash bronzer brush. This is from an e.l.f. kit. But that's what I use for both my bronzer and blush in here. I don't know if it's my foundation or if it really is the shade of this bronzer, but it feels to me like it's leaning a little bit too warm for my skin tone, but it is buildable, which is nice. The blush is super pigmented and very buildable. I experienced some patchiness, but again, I haven't worn it over a ton of different bases to understand whether it's the base or the powder product itself. And the highlighter is very subtle. I think this is going to be one of those for you all out there who like a nice, subtle, but still very much there highlight. Wouldn't say it's dewy, certainly not glittery. It's just like a subtle hint of something. As a result, though, I find that if you build it up too much, it can border on chalky, right? Because it doesn't have that glimmer or metallic sheeny shine to it. It's almost closer to a satin matte highlight. Okay, matte might be a bit much, but there's just not a lot of shimmer there, so it can get a little bit chalky as you build it up. Then you have the Essential Eye Palette here, which is very mid-tone taupey, with the exception of this light cream highlight shade. All of them are satin. Some of them have a little bit more shimmer than others, but for the most part, they are all satin shades, no matte shades in here. And the other thing is that these 3 shades in the center, they are different, certainly look like it in the pan, but I personally found when wearing them that they don't differ all that much in how they appear on my skin when worn. So I wish that they would have switched it up a little bit in here with some shade variations, like if they would have given you the darkest, the lightest, maybe a mid-tone in here, but then put some either fun or different, or maybe a purple, although it is supposed to be an essential palette, so maybe stick to the neutrals. But even still, I feel like you could switch it up in there with a gold or maybe a pinky champagne. I don't know, I just wish, I feel like there aren't a ton of different looks you can get from this palette just because there isn't a whole lot of contrast amongst the shades. That said, shadow quality is still great. Like, I really liked how these applied across the lid, and I want to do a separate video with these so you can actually see them in action, both the blush and eyeshadow palette. So stay tuned for that. But just, again, my preliminary thoughts. I feel like that's the thing I'm going to repeat in this video, so I am so sorry if I say that a billion times, but it's the truth. This is just like, it's not first impressions, it's just like what I'm thinking now. So stay tuned for that. And I'll be honest, I just went a little crazy on eyeshadows because I got 2 more palettes to talk about. First of which is what I'm wearing today, and you'll see me demo this here. It's the Maybelline Lemonade Craze palette, and this I am so excited to try a little bit more. Today I do want a little disclaimer, you'll see me applying it. I didn't apply any primer, so I do think that has an impact on the lack of pigment you're seeing. Really, over top of no primer, these have a very soft pigmentation, but I'm honestly surprised at how even they are without a primer. The fact that this yellow, which is why I got this palette, this yellow in here is matte, and those can be so tricky to go on evenly without being patchy, especially without a primer. So I was actually pretty impressed with that, as well as Ice Pop, this berry in here. That went on really nicely too, and so I do want to do like a dedicated tutorial using this, especially like a yellow look, obviously, because I think these have serious potential, especially worn over a primer, maybe even like a white eyeshadow base, just to kind of create that clean slate and make those colors pop more. Then the other palette I got was the Dominique Cosmetics palette, because I'm a sucker for fellow YouTubers palettes. It's called the Latte palette, and as you look inside, you can see it is very latte themed. Lots of beautiful neutrals, combination of mattes and shimmers, and yet we still have the pop of pigments over here, which I really like. Cold Brew is a gorgeous matte teal, Double Shot is a gorgeous matte purple. Overall, this color palette just really appealed to me, and so wanted to give it a try. I have used this guy once, and so far, I am very impressed with the shadow quality. Dallas, I'm kind of in the middle of something here, but so far so good. Okay, we are nearing the end. 2 more face products. These just are so weird. They are from Almay, weird in a good way. They're highlighters from Almay. This is something I never expected from Almay, and so for that reason, I had to get them to try them. Almay came out with Make Them Jelly highlighters. These are like, to me, the jelly highlighter craze is very trendy, and nothing against Almay. It's just, I don't associate them as kind of hopping on those trends. To me, they're very like reliable, stick with the stuff that works, and jelly highlighters, especially ones called Mermaid Magic and Unicorn Light, those that kind of suggest the holographic sort of thing. Yeah, just not what I would have expected from them. So they have 2 shades, like I said, Mermaid Magic. This is actually what I'm wearing today, so you can see me apply it. It is kind of a soft blue base with a purple iridescent shift, and then there is Unicorn Light, which is the pinkier counterpart. It's pink with a slightly gold iridescence too, and I don't know, I'm going to show you a close-up of this. This is the most interesting texture I have ever seen. It reminds me of a food. I can't remember what food it is, but it's super weird, and I was a little nervous about how this was going to work out. How would it interact with the products that I'm wearing underneath? underneath, how it would stay. You know, I'm a little skeptical of any new sort of texture because you never know how it's going to play with the products that you have underneath. But I'm pleasantly surprised. But I'm pleased to say it actually did really well. You can see my ring finger, dabbed it in here. I experienced some cracking, like it's not a soft gel. It's not like a glaze and eye gloss from Butter London or anything like that. It's like a firm gel, sort of like Jell-O. Maybe it reminds me of Jell-O. Duh, I don't know why I didn't think of that earlier. It's like sticking your finger in Jell-O. So you experience like some fracturing in the gel. It kind of comes off in chunks on your finger, but it blends super easily on your cheeks. You just pat it in. I didn't experience any sort of movement with my foundation or my concealer or anything like that. Pat it in, and it looks beautiful. It does have some really distinct shimmers in it, so to the extent that you're not a shimmery kind of person, these probably won't be for you. Also, the colors themselves are really unique. I know some of you guys are like, not gonna touch a purple highlighter, which I get. I think you should try it just to say you did, just so you can say you don't like it, but I get that it's not for everyone, so that might be another deterrent from these two. But if you're willing to be a little adventurous, what I recommend doing is applying your normal highlighter. Like today, I applied the soft cream from the Kerry Washington Neutrogena palette, and then over top I put this purple and I focused it right here in my under eye area, just so you get like a little bit of a shift. It's not an overwhelming purple sheen across your face, it's just a little hint of a shift right by the outer corner of your eye, and I just think it gives any look so much dimension. Doesn't have to be purple, it could be pink. There are a ton of other different fun colored highlighters out there that you can kind of coordinate with your eyes or whatever you got going on in your face, but try it. You might like it. This is apparently my call to action to mix up your highlight game. I don't mean to sound preachy, but you should. In terms of wear throughout the day, it's also really nice. It dries down to a surprising powdery finish. A lot of creams out there even don't fully dry down to a powdery finish. So again, was a little skeptical with these. They just like melted right into my skin, dried very nicely, and haven't budged throughout the day. They don't kind of maintain a dewy texture or a wet texture or anything like that. They just dried right down, and they just blended in with the rest of my foundation, which I think really helped with the wear throughout the day. And the last thing I got is yet another Stila Glitter and Glow eye glitter. Liquid eyeshadow is basically what it's called. I have I've got to have more than that. I have quite a few of these. They are my all-time favorite glitter eyeshadow products. They are so easy to use. Basically, it's glitter in your jelly adhesive medium already mixed together. So you just go in with a little doe foot wand, you would apply it across your lid, you can blend it in. They're super easy to blend and work with, and you let it dry and it stays there all day. You don't have to worry about glitter fallout, pressing glitter into a base. Not that there's not a time and a place for that. That's all good. But if you're the kind of person that like just doesn't want to have to worry about glitter, you don't mess with glitter all that often, and so when you do, you want it to be like really foolproof, these are my go-to. And they have so many within this collection. You can find pretty much any combination of glitter, duochrome, trichrome, different colored bases with contrasting glitter in them. I mean, there's so many different options in this collection, and they all wear beautifully throughout the day, like without a ton of fallout and fading and things like that. This is just, you can't beat it. So anytime, I wish I would have gotten more, frankly. I wish I had the whole collection, but I'm trying to practice moderation. I think that's what this haul is. Moderation, right? So that is everything that I got in my Ulta haul, guys. If you have picked anything up yourselves, please let me know down in the comments below if you're liking it. If you're not so much, you're gonna return it, let us know. And if you wanna see anything specific using any of these products, let me know that as well. I've told you what I kind of want to do and create from those, but if you have other ideas, you wanna see something else, let me know. Would love to hear it. Besides that, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye, guys.